Hello my friends, welcome to another edition of Relaxation Oil Painting. I'm here on a Sunday afternoon. It's about 90 degrees outside, so I'm down in the basement, relaxing, painting, and I thank you for joining me. You'll hear in the background I have on some light rain and thunder, just as an atmosphere change. Sets the mood and the tone for this particular painting I'm going to try. Now, I haven't painted in quite a while, a couple months now. I've been busy with other things at the dojo and getting ready for a new musical album that's coming out next month. But I figured I'd do a black canvas today. This is an 18 by 24, and I've already painted it with black gesso and allowed it to dry, which gives it that black tone. And then I covered the top part with sap green, the bottom part with some blue, and we'll see where we go. I wanted to make kind of a forest painting with no sky really to speak of. Just sit back and relax and enjoy yourself. Feel free to fall asleep, because what you're going to see is not going to be great, because this is my first time back in quite a while. I'm no Bob Ross, no William Alexander. I'm just a hack who paints once in a great while on this wet on wet technique, which I really love, because it's a wet canvas. Everything spreads nicely and you can mix right on the canvas. So let's see what we can create. I don't know too much about composition, what I'm going to do today. But I did decide that I want my light source to come from left to right today. Maybe this is a dark forest. Maybe a pond or a river down here. So I hope everyone at home is doing well and surviving the COVID-19 pandemic that we're going through. So in the future, when you watch this, you'll know what time of history we're in. Not an easy time for anybody, is it? But we'll get through it. We stay positive. Everything passes. I'm just going to use some white in here. Let's go in and create a light source right about here. And I'm just using some crisscross strokes. And the farther out that you go, it picks up more of the black and the green. I don't know what time of day this is, we're not sure. And it comes over here. And I want this to grow darker and darker as we continue. I don't want a lot going on over here. Keep that quite dark. The more white that you put on, the brighter you can create this space. I like this green. It's a really beautiful color. Kind of an emerald green, maybe a little light here and there. Not much, not much, not much. Okay. Simple, right? Now we'll go in with a 2-inch brush and I'm going to blend this out. Make it more pushed back into the distance, more hazy, more foggy, diluted down with the darkness of the forest here. Now you could make that into a sky if you wanted. An emerald green sky would be really interesting, wouldn't it? Because you're an artist, you can paint whatever you want. So that quickly we have a nice light source from this forest. Perhaps it's a path. I'm going to leave this for later, okay? Now I didn't go over my palette. I don't have many colors today, but I'll show you. Here I have titanium white. I think that's midnight black, some Van Dyke brown, cadmium yellow, Prussian blue, sap green, and I think that's phthalo blue right there. I'm using paint thinner to wash the brush, so you may hear that sloshing sound, which is the paint thinner. And I have a wastebasket next to me, which I have this beater rack in, which gets off the excess paint thinner. And then I have some towels around the edge to dry the brushes off. In case you haven't tuned in before, I have several now series of these paintings, going back a couple of years now. Again, I don't paint often. I think there were 10 paintings in each series, and I'm not even sure what series we're in. I'll have to go back and look because I haven't painted in a while, as I said. But this is the Bob Ross Wet on Wet technique. Wet on Wet technique has been around a long time, hundreds of years, way back into the classical painters. Bob Ross or William Alexander did not invent it. It's been around a lot longer. Now, let's see. Let's go into... I'm going to start some trees. So I'm going to actually take a fan brush here. I'm using a fan brush. Let's go into some black and some green and some white. Make kind of a gray, greenish gray color. I want these to be far away. More black. A little more green. Okay, so I'm just mixing in this color here. Loading up the brush. And we'll start to create some trees here, okay? So let's come down. Most of these will be completely covered up at one point, but I want this illusion of trees here, far away. Of course, with a forest, we could have literally thousands of trees. I mean, you've spent a lot of time in the forest, and you know that just every imaginable angle, trees come. Different sizes. If I want some farther away, I just lighten up my touch here and kind of stop halfway through. We don't know where these come from, where they're going. It's fun, isn't it? Just hanging out Sunday. I really appreciate your time spending it with me. I'm just getting the bases of the trees down. The big one here. Maybe some comes in from the side, off the side of the canvas. Here's another. Another here. There's one that's a little crooked. See fairly quickly we can get a forest going. Just a beautiful fan brush. And a little bit of patience. Again, a lot of this will be covered up in a few moments, you'll see. Now as I move over here, I want to make it more black, so I'm adding black in. I want these to be super dark. Very little color over here. The thunderstorm kind of fits, doesn't it? Maybe kind of a scary forest here. Maybe you got lost and it started to thunder. That happened to me once. I was probably a teenager. As you know, I'm a martial artist by trade, and I would always take my sword out after school and I would go out into the woods to practice my kenjutsu, my sword training. And one time this huge thunderstorm out of nowhere came up and I was stuck like this in the deep, deep, deep woods. And it was frightening because there was lightning striking all over the place, like within feet of me, and the thunder was deafening. And I held onto that sword and did my little Japanese Mikio prayer and hoped that the lightning didn't strike me, and I really kind of became one with the forest, so to speak. I became like a little creature hiding from the storm, and really, I'll never forget that. I couldn't go home, it was too far, and I know my mother was probably worried about me, but she might have been working at that time. But I had to endure that huge storm and all the lightning, and I was scared for my life, and I made it through, obviously, and held on to that sword super tight. Tried to pretend I was a samurai warrior. So much fun back then. It was really different. So can you see that so far? It looks kind of like a dark forest, maybe a bamboo forest. Now let's take that same brush, go into the black here. I'm going to save this brush and hold on to it, and I'm going to go into a new fan brush. And I'm going to go into some yellow and some green. So I want kind of a light green here. Light green color, which is going to be the highlights in the light area. I hope that rain and thunder isn't too loud on the camera here. It's a nice color. And we're going to go in and create some... I have to change my angle here because I cannot see with this. I have a spotlight right here, as you can see. Actually, no, I want to change that. Let's use the dark here. Dark and the light. Forgot one of the cardinal rules, dark. Dark on the light part. There we go. That's better. It wouldn't all be straight trees, would it? We'd have all kinds of foliage and brush up here. Here's where we can start to think about the ground of the forest, which again would be very dark. Maybe there's a hill here where a fox might live. It's amazing what you can create with just a few colors. Just a few hints. So what are you guys up to at home? Are you just laying around? Are you sleeping or what? Are you off work? Are you working maybe? Maybe you should be working. Hope you're having fun, whatever you're doing. I'm just putting in shapes. Now what we can do is take this one, I don't know if this will work, but we can reverse it over here and put in light. See, I can put in light over here to show up over the dark. Do you see what I'm doing? It's kind of hard to see. But I'm putting in hints over here of some highlights. Especially on this side where the light from here would hit. Not too many. You want it pretty dark, but maybe a couple here and there. See where I'm going? And then down here, where it's much lighter, see now I'll make, here is where the highlights of the grass would be, of the forest. And then darker up here. Very little light on this hill. Some, but not a lot. Adding another layer. So much fun and relaxing to paint, it really is. And we can even add a couple highlights. Watch this. A couple light trees here. General rule is light shows up on dark. Dark shows up on light. It's awesome. Just softening up some of this. I want it really subdued, laid back. Not a lot of detail in this particular painting. More impressionistic, so to speak. Soft there. How's it looking, everybody? Okay? We could leave it like that, but now we're going to add some water. How cool is that? Let me go in and I just want to clean a brush. I want to put a little more highlight around this white source of light here through the forest. I'm going to use yellow, tad yellow, or bright yellow. Just a touch here. That's nice. Yeah, it just gives a little hint of the light hitting. Just a little bit. Not much. Not too much. Nice. A little more highlight here. Alright, let's go in And get a 2-inch brush, pretty big paintbrush. Paint the house with it. Let's go into some titanium white. And let's work with the blue here. Light source here. Pull this down. Isn't that magic? Truly magic. And how easy is that? You have beautiful water underneath the forest. Just a few strokes of the brush. And anyone out there can do this. It's not difficult. Anyone can do it. It really is magic. Going to the brown now because I want some rocks here. I want more dark over this side. Today we're using mostly the fan brush. Maybe there's a path that comes from over the hill down to this lake, so use some perspective here and create a path. Makes you want to walk back there, see it? And then I can take another fan brush if I want. Take a little white and brown. Create a bit of a highlight color. And I can come in and just put in the indication of light hitting that path. You can clean up the edge here so it sits back more. Good. Adding some foliage. How fun is that? Okay, let me open up some I didn't get out some liquid white, so bear with me. Shake up some liquid white here, which is basically like a really oily white medium. See Bob's little face on there? He died quite a while ago, but he had such a good influence on so many people. Always happy, always smiling. He's the Mr. Rogers of the art world. I'd love to see younger people really taking hold of his teachings now. He's extremely popular when I see him on Twitch. He has anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 people any second watching his paintings on Twitch live. I think people just want a comfortable space where they can relax and just be themselves and not have to live up to any expectations of what people want. I don't see anything wrong with that on occasion. Don't want to do it permanently when you won't do anything in your life. But once in a while it's perfectly acceptable to just relax. Let go of the world. And paint. Or do music, whatever you like to do, draw something. Cutting in water lines here, which separates the land. Not easy using this big stiff brush. Palette knife. It's not easy. You have to kind of cut in these lines here. Okay, let's go ahead and clean up that edge. Let's go in and use black and brown, dark colors, just clean this up. I want that really subdued. Good. A little darker down here, so the light wouldn't hit near the water. Now what I'd like to do is I want to bring a little bit of land over here. I'm going to leave this the way it is. I like that light. Bring a bit of land down, so I need some darkness. Okay. Let's go into some sap green here. Just breaks up the monotony of the line there. I want a little bit of different composition down here. So just by doing that, so you've made a little island, a little extra layer where you could sit and fish or meditate or whatever you want. See? Just breaks up the corner. Yeah, that kind of breaks up the monotony of it. I want a little bit more of a black here. Yeah, that's it. And it's a pine tree that's growing, see? Yeah, that's cool. There's a pine tree right there. Really dark. Gets a lot of wetness from the forest. But just enough light to grow. Can you see that black pine I just put in? Let's put a couple of those. Let's put a small one right here. Forest would be full of pine trees and ferns, and just gives it some nice detail. Yeah, cool. You guys see how I'm layering dark and light here? These little details really help. I haven't done one of these before, so this is the first painting I've ever done that, well, not ever done, but more of a forest only. I usually make quite a few skies. But for today, we just do a dark forest. The mood fits. Especially with this thunder and lightning and rain. Now let's go in and just create a small, let's take some of this. I haven't used the Prussian blue yet, or the phthalo blue. So this, let's try this. This is a bluish green here. Let's take a different brush. I want to use a round, well, let's use a 1-inch brush with this phthalo green. It's still dark, but it's got a lot of blue in it. This might make a nice highlight color for down here. We shall see together. Yeah, that's it. It's got quite a bit of blue in it. Needs a little light. Yeah, that's, without that it would just be a little bit too dark, a little too dark. Well, what do you guys think? I don't want to add too much more. I really like the idea of keeping this quite dark. 1 or 2 little lines here and there. Shouldn't hurt anybody. scraping in a couple of white lines. Sorry about my head in the way. Sorry I'm not talking, I'm just having fun. Having fun. If you're not having fun painting, don't paint. Have fun with it. Yeah. Alright, let's keep it there. Simple, dark, mystical, magical, whatever you want to use. Ugly. A lot of people won't like this because art is so subjective. So a lot of people will think this is absolutely hideous. It's alright, I like it. And an artist is never happy with his or her work, ever. Believe me, we are our own worst critics. So while I clean my brushes, we'll just sit and talk for a minute. So I often will just stop here, but hey, if you have a couple extra minutes to sit with me. Bob Ross's series was called The Joy of Painting, because he saw so much joy and creativity in art. And he would often paint several paintings for each series. He did one live, and you always notice he was looking off camera. He was looking at his reference painting. And then they said that he often did a third before that. After, excuse me. He would do a third painting that they would photograph for books, which I have a few of. I don't have any here. I usually don't use any books, but I have painted by the book, so to speak, with Bob Ross in my old days. I'm just cleaning my brushes off right now. What brings you joy? What do you like to do that brings you pure pleasure and makes you feel alive and wonderful and gets rid of any sadness or depression? What is it that you like to do? As long as it's not hurting anybody. Or anything, of course. You want to protect pets and animals. Hopefully you live in an area where you can be free enough to pursue whatever you want to do. I live in the Midwest of the U.S. in America, and this is a beautiful area to live in. I live in Westchester, Ohio, which is about 30-40 miles northeast of Cincinnati. Beautiful city. What I love about this area, I grew up on the East Coast in Massachusetts, and I moved here in, I think, 1999. Been here about 21 years now. I miss the ocean for sure, but Ohio's beautiful. What they call the Miami Valley. And it has beautiful forests like this. Go to Clifton Gorge or Hocking Hills, places that look prehistoric out of the Cretaceous period. A lot of fossils around here, a lot of beautiful lakes. Mountains of Kentucky aren't far. And even where I live in Ohio, Ohio's a huge state. You can have plains and endless fields of corn and open sky. And then where I live is much more hilly. Not mountainous, but I'm in a very hilly part of Westchester. So on my property here I have a river, or a stream I should say, or a runoff. And I go down there and look for fossils. It's about 15 feet drop. And I'll go in there when it's dry in the bed, and I can find all kinds of fossils from the erosion of the water over the years. And I have deer that visit me. I have tons of squirrels that I feed, like Bob used to do. All kinds of birds, woodpeckers. We have hawks. I think I've seen eagles, but I don't know what kind of eagles. Possum, skunks, you name it. No bears that I've seen. Coyote, a lot of those. A lot of coyote around. All kinds of animals. Beautiful part of the country. And as Bob used to say, and I agree with him, you got to get out into nature. Nature is one of the best things you can do to heal yourself is nature. And of course, during the pandemic, they say get out in the sun, get a lot of vitamin D where the air is clean and clear, and breathe in the freshness of nature. It really is meditative. On a day like today, where it's almost 100 degrees out, I'm not going to go outside much. Today's an indoor creative day. We made this day, didn't we, you and I? We put on the thunder and lightning, so wherever, it's hot out, but where you and I are, it's in a dark, old forest. Raining, thundering, scary. Maybe there are wolves that live in here, or those of you who like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, maybe golems in here, or a troll or something. Maybe you're a warrior or a princess of the old days and you're traveling around. Maybe you're a fisherman and you want to find this pond and fish it. Maybe you're a hunter, I don't know. Maybe you're a photographer and you like the idea of the light coming through. Whatever, for somebody this will make a nice little addition to their living room or bedroom and kind of bring a little bit of nature indoors. So I think that's it, my friends. I really appreciate you all taking the time to join me. Again, I'm no Bob Ross, but I do enjoy painting, and I'm glad that we can film it for you to enjoy. Until next time, my friends, this is Todd Norcross on this series of relaxation oil painting. Check out my other paintings. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the like button if you like it. We'll see you soon. Have a great and wonderful week. Bye-bye.